Great people, glad to know you are there. Let's continue from what we have been discussing. The 20 things we need to know about the 10 commandments God gave to the nation of the Jews or Jewish nation or Israelites. Let's go further by looking at the sixth point, which says that they were not known in Israel before Sinai. These very 10 commandments we are talking about, nobody knows about them before, even though some sections of that very law were indirectly given to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But now it is comprehensive in nature. It was well composed and handed over to Moses so that Israelites will have it. If we look at the book of Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verses number 7 to 8, and Deuteronomy chapter number 5 and verse number 2 to 3, as well as Nehemiah chapter number 13 to 14, we will see that. Permit me to say this. When God came up with this law for that nation, it is for a purpose. And that is why we are discussing it at this point in time. Remember, our focal point for doing this is to look at my own mother continent, Africa. Why are we devastated? Is God really happy with us? Number two, the body of Christ globally. Is God really happy with us? Someone may argue we are in the age of dispensation. We don't need to keep the law. But I tell you the truth, that the author of grace, Jesus Christ himself, once said, "If you love me, keep my commandments." Body of Christ is guided by commandments. Every nation is guided by either constitution or decrees or commandments or laws. Therefore, God is still interested in humanity obeying his stipulated laws, whether in the dispensation of law or in the dispensation of grace. Let me present the seventh point as regard to what we should know as a fact concerning the 10 commandments given to the people of Israel. These commandments are found only in the law of Moses. And this can be found in Exodus chapter number 20 and Deuteronomy chapter number 5. If they had not been made a part of this law, we would not have them. For the location of the stones on which God wrote this copy is not known. To make them separate from the law of Moses and call them the law of God because God made a copy of them is a fallacy. That's why I earlier said that you don't call it law of God. We refer it as law of Moses. The reason is that it was Moses that received that law. Even though God gave it, there are other laws given, especially to the main figure that the Jews recognizes and honors. That is Abraham. Abraham is a very powerful figure in the history of the Jews. Not only in the history of the Jews, but also in the field of religion. Because the same Abraham had a very wide, encompassing impact on religion. That is why we have 3 Abrahamic religion that is almost dominating the world. We have the Judaism that has many adherents. We have Christianity. We have also Islam. These are 3 Abrahamic religions. And these religions as the Abraham of a human being, as their father. Therefore, Abraham had commandments from God, but not these particular 10 commandments we are talking about. So we distinguish this body of laws that we are calling, or that are called the law, the 10 commandments, as laws of Moses. Have you seen why in my last video I said that it is called the law of Moses and not God's law? Because God has given laws to Abraham, given laws to Isaac, given laws to Jacob. So this particular one he's given now is called the law of Moses because it came through Moses. And this particular law, that is the 10th commandment, will shape the life of Israel as a nation. Because the laws he gave to Abraham, he didn't give it to him to guide a nation, because Abraham has not produced a nation. The laws he handed over to Isaac, that guided Isaac in his own time, it is not presented to him to guide a nation, because Isaac has not produced a nation. As regard to Jacob, who is also an ancestor to this Jewish nation, when God gave him some commandments and precepts that he should follow and live his life, he didn't give him that law to guide them as a nation, because Jacob has not produced a nation, even though he had 12 children, the 12 tribes of Israel, but they are not yet a nation. So that is why emphasis is not on the laws God gave to Abraham, the laws God gave to Isaac, and the laws God gave to Jacob. There is no emphasis on those ones. The emphasis is on the law God gave to the Jewish people as a nation, because their existence as a nation and their performance as a nation matters so much, because all other parts of the earth will exist as a nation and not as individual. Having said this, I want to say that this particular law we are talking about determines how God will feel toward them. In my next video, I will present more facts we need to know about the 10 commandments. Call me Pastor Elisha, the rising voice in Africa and the reformer with a difference. Thank you for watching.